Wake up, Jacob, and welcome to High Value Hebrew. Now, this very first video that I want to make is really just gonna cover what the channel is about, right? What the primary thing that this channel will be featuring. And what we're going to be talking about, what I'm going to be talking about and addressing, obviously there'll be some reactions to videos and clips and things like that. So there will be some commentary. But the main thing is about men. Men in general, and Hebrew Israelite men in particular. Those who share the Messianic Hebrew faith. Now, before I go any further, let me just go ahead and say that this particular channel will not be about doctrine, even though I'll throw in some scriptures here and there, but it won't be about doctrine, right? I got a whole nother channel with lessons, okay? Fountain of Israel, that's doctrine. That's lessons and doctrines and, lessons based on topics of the Bible, but not this channel. This channel is really for and by men. It's very, very man-centric, right? And I don't know if a lot of you guys have noticed, but there has been for the last few years, there's been a gender war. Now, if you want to go all the way back, there's been a gender war since, the mid 60s and 70s. But there's a huge gender war. And I think what's been happening is that lately men have been losing. We don't know whether we're coming and going, right? We're in a very gynocentric society. Now, some of the content that I have in this particular channel, will have in this particular channel, will probably trigger some. That's not my intent, but it'll happen anyway, because that's the type of society that we live in, that you can't really have an opinion that goes against the norm, right? What's accepted. So it'll trigger some, but it is for the purpose of edifying the men. Now, the reason I want to do this is because High Value Hebrew is about changing the narrative and changing the image of the Hebrew man, right? We have to change the narrative and we change the image. The reason why is because most of us are lumped into the same category of other men, of low value, low count men, with that people will call good for nothing, right? I'm not talking about the average guy. I'm not talking about the average guy who puts his shoes on, in the morning, puts his pants on one leg at a time, go out there, slay the dragons, go to work, come home, take care of his family, right? Sit down, might have a beer or something like that. I'm not talking about that guy. I'm talking about the guy who does nothing. I'm talking about what the world, or at least this particular society, would call a Pookie and a Ray Ray, right? That's who I'm talking about. We're not in that number. We're not counted in that number. So when we talk about certain stats and statistics and things like that, the main prototypes that women complain about are those guys, or the Pookie and the Ray Rays. The main prototype, because when we look at the numbers of the average guy and the top tier guy, they don't fit that number. It just does not make sense. It's shocking for people to look at the stats, Census Bureau, blackdemographics.com and all this. It's crazy for them to think that most black men are single and unmarried without children, right? Single, unmarried, no children. Hard for them to believe that, About 30% are married with children. So that really throws people off, that they know that the men that they're talking about really falls in anywhere between 16 and 19%, right? Because single and unmarried is like between 51 and 54%. So we're talking about between 16 and 19%. And these are the same guys who's fathering all the babies, okay? 70-80% of our black children are born out of wedlock, right? So you're talking about the same people sleeping with the same people. So that's why this channel exists. This channel is to separate that. It's for us to have standards. Now, with that, gentlemen, I have 3 imperatives on this particular channel. I have 3 imperatives. Those imperatives are: pursue your purpose, increase your value, and protect your seed. So that's what a lot of this is going to be about. Why? Because we as men, we have to have standards. And a lot of times women are not used to us having standards. We have to improve our image. We have to increase our value. We have to protect our seed. We have to have standards. That's what we need. Now, you're either going to erase your standards or you're going to adopt some standards, right? So if you adopt those 3 imperatives, you'll be well on your way to having some standards, okay? And so you're just not gonna, as a high value Hebrew, a person of faith, as a high value man that also has faith, right? As a high value Hebrew, you are gonna cherish your time and your attention and your money. You're gonna take pride in your mate selection. That's what it is to protect your seed, your mate selection. You're not gonna just sleep with just anybody. You're gonna have discipline, right? That's what it means to have discipline. You're gonna explore your options. We'll talk about travel. We'll talk about all this type of things on this particular channel. Because it's incumbent upon us as men to perform. We have the burden of performance. As we all know, society has told us already that as men, we're not born with our value. Women are born with their value, right? And it starts peaking out 18 to 25, it's like at their peak high, what they call sexual market value, right? Or dating market value. As men, if we do nothing, we are not worth anything. If we do nothing. If we know it's not all about, money and things like that, on this channel we'll explore those 4 components of being a high value Hebrew. Now I understand some of us, we watch persons and personalities, like Kevin Samuel and stuff like that. Now when he talked about high value men, he talked about one component, which is compensation, right? Mainly compensation. He threw in a little network and stuff like that, but he was alluding to, your network is closely linked to your net worth, right? But there's 4 components, right? And I'll tell you what the 4 components is. I'll explain it in another video. But it is capacity, character, conviction, and compensation. Those 4 components make up a high value Hebrew. And we're gonna talk about that. That's what this channel will be all about. Because the burden of performance is on us. And if we want better outcomes, we want to be better Hebrews. We want to be stronger. We want to increase our value. We want to be, as the Bible would say, men of renown, men of valor, men of courage, men of wisdom. We want to be all these things, right? We got to work on it. It's just not just given to us. We got to work on it. And so we're going to talk about that on this particular channel, and we're going to react to a lot of the pop culture type things, a lot of things that are going on out there. We're going to talk about manosphere type stuff, which may include red pill, which is understanding female nature. We got to do that now. Before you people say, oh, this guy, he's supposed to be about the Bible, about the Word, and all this. Why is he talking about this secular type stuff? Because we can only choose. We're increasing our value for what? For ourselves, for the Most High, and to get a mate, right? That means when we go to get a mate, we have 2 options. We can go to a community, and a lot of smart communities are not just giving away their virtuous women to just anybody, right? So you can go to a community, or you can go to conversion. Those are our options. You can convert a woman, or you can go to a community and get a virtuous woman that's brought up in the Word. Okay, so you with me? So that's why we have to deal with how to navigate these women out here. Now I know at the end of the day it's going to be about a modern woman versus a traditional woman, and we don't want the modern woman because she's not wife material. Yes, I said it. The modern woman is not wife material because she wasn't raised to be a wife. So you're looking for women with traditional values, and sometimes you may have to leave your own soil to do it, but we will get into all of that. So I just wanted to tell you guys and let you guys know that this is high value Hebrew. If you guys if you have clips that you want to send that I can react to or comment to, feel free to do that. That's perfectly fine. You put it in there, or I'll get you guys some more information on that. The other thing is that you want to talk about some of these issues and stuff like that. Hey, we can probably arrange something like that. We'll set up some sort of call or something like that. If not, I'm still gonna just be going, and I want to edify, I want to empower and educate the gentlemen out there who are ready to be the best version of themselves. This channel is, even though I will address women, I will address modern women versus traditional women. The channel is about creating and networking with high value Hebrews. So with that, guys, I'm going to talk to you guys on the next one. High value Hebrew. Shalom, and move like men.